Behind the scenes, setting up for a video. Where do I want her today? Do I want her here? Or do I want her here? I want some good footage. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My beautiful, beautiful, beautiful ladies. I got something for you. I'm just gonna give you both because it's so pretty. Look at how beautiful this is. Thumbnail. Okay, well, here you go. I decided to add this just because it's like just such a nice little addition. I'm watching Bridgerton currently and I'm like, can I go to a ball please? And can I please wear this in my hair? Cause like, it's a vibe, okay? Here you go, put that on flowers because you're just stunning. You are glowing, you're so healthy, you're so wealthy, and you're just slaying life all around. Like, I don't know how you do it. You are just, you make me feel like I gotta pick up some slack here, okay? Here you go. Go put those in some water. Grab a notepad, grab some tea, some coffee, whatever it is gonna be for you today. And I'm drinking my iced coffee with no ice. I talk about this topic a lot, but it's something that's not talked about enough. I feel like a lot of people in society are overly concerned with other people's problems and other people's business. And the source of a lot of people's suffering is taking on responsibility that's not theirs. This isn't gonna be for everyone because there's certainly people out there that this is not gonna apply to. So if this isn't for you, this is for people who struggle to put themselves first, because one of the main things on your level up journey, on your self-love journey, is to not become selfish and cold, closed off, and like not generous. It's to become a more warm, radiant, generous version of yourself. But to get to that generous place, we cannot be giving out our scraps when that's all we have, okay? As I was getting on this level up journey, every time I hit a new level, I'd be so excited. And because I have a giving heart and because I feel like the people I attract on this channel have giving hearts, I am here to tell you, you do not have to give. As soon as you come into something for yourself, you don't have to just go and give it away, okay? This applies to money. This applies to your energy. This applies to really anything you have, like any resource. And I used to be the kind of person, as soon as something worked out for me, I would want to go give it to everyone else. And then I would like feel like I was constantly starting over with a lot of things in my life. And I know that this is like a serious problem, especially for a lot of people who people please. Think about it as like you are a fruit tree and you are growing. And every level you hit, you start ripping off these little tiny berries that you have, not knowing that they're gonna turn into full oranges later. You're ripping them off and you're like, here you go, and you're handing them to everyone. But it's not in full form. They're just taking it because they're like, what if I don't get any when it's full form? There are people like that. And it's not helping you because you're stunting your own growth. When you overgive while you're growing, you stunt your growth and it takes longer. So if people around you really love you, really value you, really respect you, they'll understand if you can't give a lot while you're in your growing season, okay? And we are always going through different levels of growing seasons. It's about knowing what areas to kind of rein some things in while you're growing and while you're renewing and cultivating things for your harvest later, okay? And depending on how that growing season goes, you might not want everyone at your harvest. I'm just here to talk about this because I think some of y'all need a reminder that you're allowed to say no. You're allowed to tell people to get their paws off of your garden, of your fruit, of your trees, of your flowers, your little bushes, whatever you have. Tell people to get their paws off and quit telling people to go help themselves when your garden, your fruit, your harvest isn't even in full bloom yet, okay? It's okay to step back and not have anything to give, okay? I'm gonna just be honest. There's a season recently where I had to just step back. I had to pull back my energy from participating in things and, you know, giving certain things because I'm like, someone at my stage, realistically, as I'm growing, I'm like, I can't do that without it harming my growth right now. So I even have to step back sometimes. Someone at the stage that I'm trying to get to would be giving this, okay? And I think sometimes when it comes to manifestation, a lot of people just kind of blurt out, like, act as if you're already there, right? But that's mentally, that's subconsciously. That's like reaffirming to your subconscious and to your consciousness, I am going to have this, so I'm going to keep acting like I have it. But it doesn't mean expend too much energy, expend too much money, expend too much time in the process of growing to that level. It doesn't mean act like you already have it by sabotaging yourself. So, you know, this is something I did not understand for so long, and I wish somebody would have explained it to me in a way that I understand. For the longest time, I thought, because I have this confidence that I'm coming into this abundance, coming into this next level, that I can do whatever I want in the process because I'm going to be fine later. Yes, there is a sense of abundance to that mindset, but you can still have an abundance mindset without like sabotaging the abundance you have in the process of growth. And it can end up bouncing back to a scarcity mindset if you're constantly, every time you come into money or you feel good again, you go and you do something that drains it all, and then you have to recover from that. Always putting yourself in a place to recover is sabotage. I think a lot of us don't understand what self-sabotage is, and we think that if we cover it up with kindness and being generous and giving nature, or, oh, they need me, I have to do this, instead of like understanding that a lot of adults have the same capabilities as you, and if it's not you, they will get the help they need, they will figure it out. And like, we are important, and the people in our lives, if they really see you as important, they're gonna still think you're important even if you can't give what they want. So, you know, I think it's really important to take a step back and look at, am I sabotaging my growth and my abundance by acting a little too strongly in the sense that I am abundant now when I physically am in a place where I don't have that to give? And by me pretending that I am and not just working on my mindset, am I sabotaging the growth and the health of my energy, my mental health, my physical health, my financial health? This channel is about wellness, okay? And for me, it's about holistic wellness. There is not wellness in one area without wellness in another. The way that our subconscious, our consciousness, and the way that we treat each area of our life will spill over into the next. So it's really important to consciously grow and give health and balance to a lot of the areas of our life, and grow with that balance in all areas, not just pour all of ourselves into one thing, one category at the expense of the other areas of wellness, because that will always come back to bite us in the ass. I want to bring awareness to this because a lot of you are doing better than you think. You're just, the way you're doing it is sabotaging yourself, and that's why you're not seeing results. There's this cliche out there that everyone says, they're like, you can't love someone until you love yourself. That is very vague. That is very, it depends on the situation. If someone is highly abusive and they categorize that as love, like that is love to them by definition, your definition is not that, and you consider that abuse, there's no amount of loving yourself first that's going to make them love you. Loving yourself first. You can be in a relationship where you do love yourself first, and the other person's just not on the same page with you. Other side of this is, when I met my man, I loved myself the best that I could, but I wasn't nearly where I am now, which now I would consider I am in a healthy place with that. I was not in a healthy place of self-love when I met him, and we both grew into self-love together. So putting these labels and these one-size-fits-all statements on things is not helpful. You know, I love to post quotes on Instagram and little things like that, but a lot of them are extremes that just do not do justice to the nuances of life and the different ways that humans have chemistry, the different ways that we have consciousness and we grow together. It really just depends on the person and the situation and their ability to have a growth mindset and to have awareness and how badly they want to be in a connection, or how connected they feel to that person. Like, how deep is it? Bringing this up is to say, you know, you do have to love yourself first, because, you know, a story that I'll share that I've probably shared in another video has a lot to do with if you are drowning, right? And there's a life raft. You're drowning, you can't get your footing, and you're trying to help someone else up in the boat. You're gonna kill both. It's just not going to help. You're probably not gonna get them on the boat, and you're probably not gonna get yourself on the boat. And if you were on the boat and you had your footing, not only could you help that person, you can help a lot of people around you. Not just that person, you can help more people. So with that being said, and I had a lady who was helping me get my diploma. Actually, no, they were helping me get my GED, and then I went back to the school that really loved me, and they helped me get my diploma, actually. Can I have a story time? And this will go with it. Don't listen to other people. If you have an option to do better than what you thought you can do, don't listen to people just because you respect and love them either. Do what is aligned with you, that is the best case scenario for you, that's going to put you in a place of health and abundance, okay? And I know that might sound, like greedy. It's only greedy if you're harming people in the process, okay? If you're just doing your own thing, you're building yourself up, then do that. Side story, I was at the end of high school. I walked at graduation, but I got a concussion at the end of my senior year. And I could not finish math. Like, I could not do it to save my life. Like, it was so hard, and I was missing only half a credit. And the school was like just ready to throw me in, like, go get your GED. And I was like, I'm missing half a credit. And I had to recover from this brain damage that I was experiencing. They had me with this tutor trying to get my GED, and I had to like do so much more work to figure out how to get my GED than if I were to just get my diploma. But the school wouldn't let me get my diploma. This other school though I used to go to, I don't know how I ended up there. I think I ended up there to pick someone up, and I talked to someone in the office, and they're like, we'll give you your diploma. And it was so cool because like I deserved my diploma. There's nothing wrong with the GED. It's just I was very close to my diploma, and there was no reason I should have had to go and get a GED. That was just the next step if you didn't get your diploma. And I got it. And if I would have listened to those people that even had my best interest, I wouldn't have the things that I have that really made me feel more confident in myself. There's a lesson to be said in that. There's people that could have really good intentions for you, but they are dead wrong on how you should be living your life and like what you need to be doing with your life. So about loving you first is like really boiling down to quit overextending yourself when you're low. Sometimes, especially for someone who tends to be a people pleaser, tends to not really seek your own approval before you're out seeking everyone else's, and you might struggle a little bit with like an abandonment wound, an anxious attachment style. You know, there's a lot of psychology and the facts I can spew at you about that, but this is really just to say realistically, the biggest things for me wasn't entirely understanding where it was coming from. It was about having the permission to take a step back and do what I intuitively deep down really wanted to do. There is a form, it's called self-abandonment. We know we want to do something else, but we end up doing something that someone else wants to do for someone else because we feel bad saying no, or like we just cannot get ourselves to choose ourselves first because we were taught that was selfish. And I just want you to know, choosing yourself is not selfish. If everyone put themselves first, we would have a lot less strife, we would have a lot less conflict, and a lot more people would be in their empowerment, taking care of their stuff. And we would all be able to come together and have more friendship time, connection time when it was time to have that. A lot of people are in their disempowerment, and a lot of times when people are in that disempowerment, that victimhood, and they feel like they need other people for approval, for validation, for getting stuff done in their life, unless you're like really in a place where, okay, you're like working in a relationship with someone, or you have an understanding with someone, you're both working on something, you both need each other. There's a sense of codependency that's healthy in relationships, and there's a sense of independence that's okay in relationships. It's called interdependence, okay? And I will be making a video about that, just breaking down what it means to be interdependent. But just bringing it up in this video, I just want to say the healthy amount of needing someone else, needing other people is healthy. Not always handling everything by yourself is healthy. If you're overextending yourself when you are already struggling with things in life and you haven't been able to take a step back and just be like, I need time, like I need a lot of time. And I used to think like, I need a couple days, I need a couple weeks. And then it wasn't time yet for me to go back and be the savior to other people, And I would go back anyway, and I would be that, and it would sabotage the days I did put in or the weeks I put in. Sometimes we need a few months. We need like 6 months. We need a year. And it's okay to take that. Take your time, take a month off. And now I'm not saying ghost people. I tell people in my life, like, hey, I can't do stuff until this date, or I need a month. Like, I'm not texting anyone. I just need to be by myself. And I will do that. And if it was something that would compromise the relationship, obviously have that discussion with them and, you know, state your boundaries and maybe find some middle ground there. But like, when it comes to your health and your wellness, it comes first. And I'm not talking about like in this selfish way, like obviously there's nuance to this. If somebody is dying in your life and you're like, I am gonna go get a massage, that is insane. There's nothing wrong with choosing what you wanna do with your free time and using it wisely to put yourself in a better spot to where you don't have to expend as much energy on that. A lot of times when we're still growing, it's taking a lot of our energy. If you notice, when we're in the womb, we're not out here driving around. We're not going to everyone's house. We're not in there like cooking and cleaning, like doing all, we're literally just focused on growing. We're like in the womb growing. So of course we're doing nothing. We are just absorbing the growth, okay? And we're not babies, so we're not going to say that's exactly the same thing, but growth is very much like that. When you are growing in certain areas, less is more. You do not need all this external stimulation, things happening in your life. You really need to hone it in and focus on the growth, the health and the wellness of your growth. And that is where you're going to have the best results. Learning to have a healthy level of isolation and focus while you're growing is so key in actually getting where you want to go. And once you're there, like referring back to taking a lot of energy just to grow, all of your energy as a baby is going towards growing into yourself. It's the same spiritually in our real life. When we're done growing, it's going to just be there, and the energy is just going to be maintaining, and it will not take nearly as much energy as it did in the beginning to grow that. So be more realistic with yourself. You know, trying to overextend yourself all these different places while you are growing in certain areas, it is sabotaging you. You're not in this scarcity mindset, and you're still walking into an abundant mindset by understanding your limits. I think a lot of times with the abundance mindset and trying to grow and be successful, a lot of people fail to realize that structure and limitations is a huge role in coming into abundance, is actually having those boundaries, that structure, and knowing when it's okay to like know your limits and be like, I cannot do that. I cannot handle that right now. That is something that I am choosing to not participate in because it's going to interfere with my real life responsibilities. It's going to interfere with the health of what I'm growing and what I am. And I'm not ready for that. And yeah, you know, you could still be a support in other ways maybe that feel good to you, but you know, knowing when to step back and just focus on yourself. A lot of people will probably not like you for this. Like, that is, in my experience, I've had a lot of people react negatively to me having to step back and choose myself. And it's something that even when you explain, most people probably aren't going to understand exactly why it's so beneficial for you to act and be the way that you are. But it's not for them to understand. It's for you to know in the long run with your greater vision how this is going to elevate you and them in the long run if they're still around for that. Yeah. Next, a few of you actually had some questions because I talked about in another video, I talked about people pleasing. How do you know when it's okay to pull back from people that you love in family members, relationships, friendships? Like, I've had a lot of people ask me, how do you know when to like put that boundary up and pull back? And my answer is when it starts decreasing your quality of life, draining your energy to where you cannot get things done in your day that are healthy and necessary to have a healthy life, that is when something becomes unhealthy. And I saw this video today, and I watched this video. It was like, how do you know when to cut off certain family members or friends? You can say cut off or put a boundary up. And the guy said, how much poison are you gonna be willing to keep taking once you realize it's poison? that was just so perfect. There are certain connections that are like poison to us. It starts to become acidic, toxic, and that's really what toxic means if we're thinking about it from a health standpoint. So I deal with this with water. I help people get alkaline, electrolytes reduced water, and we focus a lot on acidity and alkalinity. So this is the same with connections. When something's alkaline, it's not inflamed, it's hydrated, it's energetic, it's vibrant. When it starts to become more acidic, it starts to cause some more irritation, inflammation, and for something to be healthy, like our bodies, acidity is actually necessary. We need acidity in our body, right? To have a healthy balance. We can't be so purely alkaline or we wouldn't be able to digest food. We wouldn't be able to have some of the things we have functioning in our body. Well, same with connections. We need to have a healthy level of friction and irritation to have a healthy connection. That's like what makes it authentic and true. If everything was always good and smooth and not inflamed, it just wouldn't be real, you know? And that's just like how our world is. It wouldn't be real. It's easy to love things when it's all good and it's all perfect. And the point of love being so strong and special, especially even self-love, is knowing that you can still love yourself and others even when you have that inflammation. So, coming back down to what I was saying was like how to know when it's like time to step back from someone you love. It's like when the inflammation becomes so bad that it's starting to cause illness, and you will feel this. If you ever been around someone and every time you're around them, you feel like when you go home, you feel ill, or it feels like it takes days to recover. Sometimes the person's not even a bad person. It might be their lifestyle. It might be things that they talk about. There's certain things that cause spikes in cortisol in our body. They say after one spike of anger and cortisol, it takes about 7 hours to recover just from a moment of anger. So if you're around people who are in their higher intensity, they do not know how to manage their emotions, and they don't know how to have healthy conflict, or they're more in their victimhood to where like they don't really take accountability or responsibility for their problems, and you're kind of taking on double the life work because you are like doing your own stuff and you're doing their stuff. And in a mutual beneficial relationship, it's like, oh, I'll handle this because you can't, and I will handle this because you can't. And it'll be like a balance of, and it won't always be 50-50, but it'll be something that's mutually an understanding. When it starts to get acidic and it starts affecting the love you have for yourself and your ability to take care of yourself, that is when you need to step back. And it doesn't always mean that person's initially right off the rip your enemy, but it does mean there needs to be a step back and there needs to be some introspection on your end at least, and if not both ends. And I'm bringing this up, this isn't about relationships and stuff like that, but it's really about self-love. It's about knowing how to grow your life. And one common factor that interferes with a lot of people's success, a lot of people's growth, their wellness, is having really acidic outer connections, or connections that we use to sabotage ourselves from really fully embracing and embodying the growth we're having. You can still love people from a distance. Love knows no limits. So if someone's really that acidic and it's like impossible to be around them, you can still love them from a distance. You have to, your body needs to be healthy. Your mind needs to be healthy. You need to be in a stable place where you can take care of yourself, because at the end of the day, if you fall, there's a whole handful of people in your life that would not be able to serve you in a way that you might serve them if that were to happen to them, and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? No one, by agreeing to be people's friends and being in people's lives, that doesn't automatically mean a lot of times that they've signed up to be that crutch if you were to fall physically ill, mentally ill, financially ill, whatever that is. So it's really important to understand where those boundaries are, how far people are willing to go, and not let other people, even if you love them, even if you truly believe they would be there for you in these times, to still make it a point to really keep yourself healthy, keep your energy high, and take care of yourself. Because at the end of the day, you are responsible for you. You are accountable for your health, your well-being, and your vitality. So, stepping into that and taking that role seriously and not letting people make you feel bad for that is essential for having the healthiest growth and getting to your healthiest goals. So something else that I had to realize and how to stop sabotaging my own growth was to stop tying my worth to how many people I help. Separating your self-worth from how many people you help is really important, especially if you're someone who does this a lot. In my self-worth video, I do say like part of the definition and the way that it works psychologically and in the physical is there is a level of our self-worth that we do get naturally from being in community connections and serving people. So there's nothing wrong with getting some of your self-worth from serving other people. It feels really good. It does make us feel more generous and worthy of love, but at the same time, us being able to separate that and to understand that our inherent worth comes from being in our divinity, our innocence. We all have it inherently born within us. We are all divine. We are all light. We are all of the earth, energetic, light being. Knowing how to separate some of your worth and know that you have worth all on your own without anything external happening or you taking part in. Having a healthy level of self-worth that just comes from who you are and your energy and just being, just coming from being you, existing, that's healthy. If you're someone who is overly into people pleasing, it is important to separate your self-worth. Like, okay, when I help less people, it doesn't make me less of a person. I can focus on myself right now and I am not less worthy than when I was helping 10 people a day and ignoring myself. Okay, so that's something that you really have to work on if you're struggling to focus on your own growth without getting distracted by all the people around you, using being the savior as an excuse to neglect yourself. Recognizing whether you have guilt or shame around self-care. So like, shame is coming from like there's something wrong with me, so I don't deserve self-care. It's like there's something inherently wrong with me, deeply wrong with me. Some of us might have been made to feel early on that there was something wrong with us, whether when we were growing up, our parents or people around us made us feel like we had some sort of mental illness, that, oh, if we had ADHD, if we struggled to socialize in school, like a lot of us grew up with different things that we could consider issues growing up. But when we're children, depending on how they were delivered to us, it could have been put onto us in a shameful way that we took it as there is something deeply wrong with me. Like there is something inherently wrong with me. And because of that, like you have lower self-worth and you just don't take care of yourself. Guilt, on the other hand, is if you were doing that self-care growing up, or maybe you're in a relationship and someone always made you like repetition. So conscious programming is repetition, practice, and sometimes when we're around people, even if we are older and we aren't as influential, if someone's constantly repeating something to us like, oh, like, why are you so selfish every time you take care of your skin or you're eating healthy? Every time you're doing something that is good for you, someone makes it about how selfish you are. Eventually, even if you don't want to accept that, you will start to develop some feelings of guilt around that. If you aren't conscious or if you don't do something about it to get yourself out of that environment that's constantly pouring that energy onto you taking care of yourself. So, there could be guilt and shame around taking care of yourself, and looking at how you feel about self-care will incredibly help how you treat your own growth, your own goals, because if you have good self-worth and you feel like you're in a healthy place with the amount of self-care that you do for yourself and you don't feel bad about it, you're most likely not going to feel bad about doing the things you have to do for yourself regarding bigger goals in your life. You can either do a journal prompt, or you can do some meditations around this, or you can just sit with it and kind of try to remember the first time you felt like ashamed or guilty about doing self-care or focusing on yourself, and really think to yourself realistically, like, was I really not worthy of self-care? Was I really supposed to feel guilty about this? How was I feeling when I was doing it? Was I doing this to be selfish? And kind of just digging deep to like, was this person just projecting how they perceive that onto me? Is there a chance that they maybe had some shame around self-care or some other unresolved issues that they were just making me responsible for by stating while I was trying to do something good for myself? And work on trying to redefine what self-care is for you. I think understanding why you do something and how beneficial it is for you, and then after you realize how beneficial it is for you, realizing how, when it's beneficial for you, how does that increase the quality of how you show up around you, to your job, your friends, your family, really anything, your clients, like whatever you're trying to do. When you realize the cause and effect of things and you know why you're doing something, it's a part of your value system, it will become something that you start to drop those feelings of shame and guilt around, and then just repetitively practicing doing those things, and then also reinforcing out loud or in your thoughts that this is how I want to feel while doing this, and either doing some subconscious reprogramming or consciously repeating to yourself that you are happy doing this, that this matters, that you want this to matter, and you will make this matter, and continue to make it important in your life. And eventually it will just be natural to you to take care of yourself, to have self-care, and to not feel bad when you're going about your own business. From personal experience, I've had to learn this because I shamed a lot of my life for minding my own business, having my own life, having my own personality, and being an individual. I was shamed a lot by a lot of people for wanting to be my own person and not doing exactly what other people think I should be doing. I was shamed into feeling like I was selfish for doing a lot of things that were really good for me, and that would have actually had me in a healthier place sooner if people hadn't had me questioning if I was really selfish, and I stopped doing those things. I used to think it was more rare, and I thought more people didn't have to deal with this, but I realized a lot of people have dealt with this, and it's something that we just need to work on and work through, because we didn't really grow up in a self-love world. So that's why I am creating one. I am creating a parallel reality that outshines the current reality. Instead of fighting the old reality, I am just creating the reality that is the most authentic, transparent, and loving. And that will do its own magic. It will work its own magic. And the more that we participate in this parallel reality universe of love and light and self-love and being transparent and getting to the bottom of truth, which requires us to explore the darkness. It's not all love and light. It starts to become a way of being, and it's natural. And when we stay at this natural level of being authentic with ourselves and others, harmony tends to like to live there. So if we want a harmonious world and connections, we really have to focus on love, truth, transparency, being willing to have the courage to dig around in the darkness a little bit to find the tools and the insight and the root of where we need to plant something new, to elevate and to ascend, transcend the things we are dealing with that are less desirable. So in order to carry this out fully, you're going to need boundaries. And honestly, it wasn't even until recently that I was able to fully speak out boundaries, especially with people closest to me. It's been something that's taken a lot of practice. It took a lot of courage, and it took a lot of different ways of me rewiring the way that I think and believe about speaking my truth to really get to a place where I could just be like very transparent and kind, and also not take shit, and fully give myself the undivided attention that I deserve to, really create the life that I love and that I dream of, that is going to really add magic to my life, but everyone around me. So it's really important to have boundaries and to practice them, but also look at what could be blocking you from having boundaries subconsciously, and what conscious behaviors are you practicing that reinforce you not having boundaries. So those are two things we need to look at. If you want me to make any videos explaining any of these concepts that I've said out loud even further, drop a comment of what sentence I said, what concept did I talk about that you want me to break down into steps that you can do for yourself. Or if you're someone who just doesn't want to know the inner workings of it, you don't want to do it on your own, you can always email me or message me, comment, and we can work one-on-one in coaching. Or I could start doing some workshops around this if enough of you want to do them. We can do some workshops where we work on them together on Zoom, So boundaries are really there so people aren't assuming that you're just available. I notice when I don't set boundaries with people, even if I'm really busy and it's very obvious that I'm busy, some people start to just assume that you're not busy, that you're free all the time for them. So it's really important to state, and it doesn't have to be a harsh thing. You just be like, yeah, actually I don't have time for that. Like during this time I'm doing this, or like I only respond during this times of the day, or like this is like, you know, just being honest about where you're at and how you are, and those boundaries can change as you grow. They don't have to be something set in stone. Boundaries help hold other people accountable, and really give other people a healthy sense of responsibility on their end in the connection. So it's not like you're just calling all the shots, or they're calling all the shots, and one of you is just conforming to the other person's reality. And it's a really good way to make sure people aren't using you. When you have boundaries with people and they can't just have your energy, your time, your money, just like parts of you or your life whenever they please or every time they ask, and you have boundaries to where it's like, you're not gonna be able to have this and be this and do this around me every single time. You know what I'm saying? Like being sure to make it clear when you're feeling uncomfortable with things, when things are just not available to other people. It really helps you develop more authentic connections that give you that space to grow. It's really important to put yourself around people who like love seeing you grow and they want you to put yourself first, but you can't attract people like that if you don't show people that that's how you are with yourself. So I find the more I started being authentic about what time I had and when I needed to focus on myself, the more I started to make friends that were not using me for certain things. There's so many ways that people use people. If they don't have that self-worth and they're looking at you, they could use you to try to get things for themselves that they don't think they can get on their own. So you really have to look out for ways people use you, but you don't have to look out for those things when you're authentic, when you're honest, and you have boundaries, and when you know how to have those boundaries with other people. And that really starts with having them with yourself, which I've talked about in other videos on my channel. I'll figure out how to link these eventually, like link other videos under here. But I have a video about how to have boundaries, and it really starts with yourself. When you have discipline with yourself, you don't just let yourself do anything at any time with like, you know, and just run loose like a child. You're like, this is my life, my schedule, this is the discipline I have. I repeat these things every day because this is in my best interest. I don't just go anywhere, anytime with anyone doing anything, because I have respect for myself. And when you have that and you start to practice that with yourself, but also with other people, you tend to only have people stick around that also have that and also admire that or respect that about you. So you can continue to have the healthy amount of space you need to grow into every chapter of your life. And that's really where my friends come in, is like the people who understand it's like every chapter you're going to have a different level of accountability, responsibility, alone time, or time with them. You know, it shifts and it moves, but the people that really are growth supportive will understand that and can grow with you and ride that wave. So it really cuts out a lot of bullshit. It really does. When you have boundaries and you have self-love and you focus on your own growth and your own success, like, it's not selfish. A lot of people make it out to be like you're some greedy, rich asshole because you want to focus on yourself. We need to debunk that because, you know, that convention I just went to, which it's my Miami convention video. If you want to watch that, it's a vlog. But I was around like millionaires, billionaires, and it was so beautiful. And I always had this little limiting belief that like people who were rich weren't good people and they didn't care about family and they didn't have boundaries or respect or whatever. Like, you just have these limiting beliefs like, oh, they're selfish. These were the most generous, loving, healthy people I've ever been around in my life. Like, they were just genuinely, you could just tell in their souls, which I have a good sense of intuition and just reading people, where I could just, these people were such good souls. And it really helped me redefine the way that I look at taking time for myself, focusing on my goals, my own success. And it was just so beautiful to bring that into my own relationship with myself, show myself that it's okay to be focused. And a lot of people call focus on one's own life and that discipline, that respect. A lot of people will translate that into you're selfish or you're money hungry, or like if you have respect or standards, be like you're a gold digger, you're this, you're that. But it's like, if you know yourself, you know yourself. And if you know how you thrive the best and are the most healthy, who's to take that away from you? Only you. So you putting a boundary up is you choosing what you want in your reality. Enabling weakness is real. So on your growth journey, you can enable your weakness in yourself and you can enable weakness in other people. So is you helping other people making you weak, or is it empowering for you? And is your help that you're giving to those people, is it empowering them, or are you making them feel weak by putting your help on the pedestal? And that is something that we do need to have a conversation with and about, because when we put other people's help on the pedestal, we don't feel capable and we don't feel empowered. And it's really important when you're helping other people that you are just an aid to that. Like, you are empowering them and showing them how to take control, but you're also there to help them while they learn and while they're stepping into that empowerment. Sometimes we can be there to help people all the time, but it's actually taking away from their empowering experience of figuring it out by themselves. So when we are coddling, if we're over coddling, nurturing other people in our life, we can actually be taking away their empowerment and becoming kind of like overpowering in their life. And it can make us feel good to help them, but it might not be what's healthiest for them. So not all help that you give or you even receive is good help. So be wary and use your discernment on like when it's time to help someone. Don't just help people because they need help. And I know that sounds crazy, but I'm so thankful that there's a lot of times in my life I had zero help. And I think about it, I'm like, it really does show me like, okay, there's people in my life that were supposed to love me and they weren't even around, like, let alone like, I might not have needed their help, but they weren't even around. Like, so it's like, okay, not only did you just not care, so that was good information for me now, but it's like, I'm really grateful I didn't have help because it developed this strength, this problem solving skills, this resilience in me that now I can't go back from that. And it makes me who I am now. So, you know, I'm glad no one robbed me of that experience. Could they have at least been around? Yes. So if people ignore you in your time of need completely, that's not a good sign. That's a red flag. But if they choose not to help you, but they're still there as like moral support, okay, cool. Like that's some healthy stuff. But not every situation that someone's like, help isn't even called for. So, you know, is your help empowering or disempowering to the other person? So with that being said, this video was really just about how to stop sabotaging your growth. It was about stepping into your abundance, just stepping back from getting caught in like this savior mode where you feel like you have to people please, save everyone at the cost of your own growth and success. That is something like I've been reading a lot of books on finances and money. And one of the top few reasons that people don't become successful and they don't have wellness in their life, and even from my studies with my water business, a lot of the reason people don't reach peak health, success, or financial freedom is because directly of the relationships they have around them and the lack of boundaries, conviction, clarity they have with their own life, but also how they interact with others and how those other people hold them back. And, you know, the boundaries, like the respect, the love, the truth within their connections will always translate to business. And if you look at any professional in any field, they always talk about how you act outside of work is going to affect your work. No matter what job you bring up, there is a professional that has made a video somewhere saying how you treat people in your personal life, how you relate with people in your personal life will always reflect in your own growth, your own success, your own endeavors. So if you want to see something in your business, that is just so beautiful. If you want to see something in your success, whatever you're working on that requires a growth mindset, whatever you're growing in your life, it doesn't have to be business, it could be your relationship. It could have to do with other people that doesn't require other people in your life. You know what I'm saying? So it's beautiful because if you're experiencing problems in an area of life, it's actually telling you so much more than just about that problem in your life. It's actually asking you, calling you to evaluate everything in your life and to find some more balance in those other places so you can give more and create more harmony within the areas of your life. So there are 8 areas. There's occupational, there's environmental, there's relationships, there is fitness, there is which is health, there is spiritual, there is financial, and there is, the other area is mental health and emotional. So There's a lot of areas of wellness, and I find that instead of just focusing on one thing on this channel, I like focusing on balance and harmony within all of the areas of life. And I love spiritual growth. I love learning how to become your next higher self, like being in connection. I love being in connection with my higher self. I've seen how it's served me. I've seen how rewiring my conscious and subconscious has served me, and how practicing a lot of things in life brings so much more peace, love, money, abundance, prosperity. All those things that we all strive for comes from living well. And that's what I just try to encourage on here by sharing my stories, by just talking about different topics and ways that I've overcome things, the ways that I've studied overcoming things, and the techniques I've used, and also just bringing awareness to a lot of these things, because I find in order for people to consciously want to change their conscious or their subconscious, you have to have awareness around like actually needing to do something about it. You have to have that driving force. You have to see that there's a problem in order to even like know that you need to find a solution. So I am good at exposing problems, and a lot of people might think that's a negative trait, but I do it so I can have the solution, so I can thrive and grow into a better version of myself. So not everyone who brings light to problems is this negative person trying to cause destruction all the time. We're actually people that are trying to get to the root of all this distraction, all this noise, to find our peace, our blessings, and our good life. I just want to live a good life. And sometimes these problems, they can be masked very easily. We can become desensitized, and these things can become normal to us. And it's important to figure out, what have we made normal that is completely sabotaging our life and not getting us where we want to go? And how can we bring enough awareness to it for it to be something that makes us uncomfortable, to be able to have the change and to want to seek the solution, which oftentimes bringing awareness to the problem should motivate you. It should a little bit, in an empowering way. And that's why I love to bring the problems on here and not just tell you what's the problem, but tell you how you can actually shift your mindset, the things that you practice throughout your day to actually get to a better reality. And doing the same skincare routine every day and living the healthy girl life is not going to get you where you want to go. A lot of people who are living that life are already where they want to be, or they are masking and like the life that they don't like with the life that they can just kind of practice and create over that. But a lot of times the core issues within our growth and like closing that gap between where am I and what life do I see myself living has a lot to do with just that inner work and the little choices throughout our day that we don't think are a big deal, which have a lot to do with other people, the way that we relate with ourselves, and what we actually consciously keep choosing to do, and what subconsciously influences us to make conscious decisions that put us in the reality that we consciously choose. So I hope that made sense. One more thing. This one's for the goddesses. Whipping out the cards because I just love these. They're oracle cards, and it's just, it's a fun game. I like surprises. I like spontaneity, and I do make videos a lot. I do stay home a lot. I do put my little outfits on, dance around my house with my dogs. I eat well, I exercise, I do the same work every day. And as fun as it is, it's so nourishing, so fulfilling, and it's thorough. I like a little surprise, a little spontaneity. So we're gonna pull a card and be like, with everything being said, what should we focus on after this video for this next week, month, whatever resonates with you? What should we focus on? And this is from the divine. What does the Most High want us to know about this next little chapter, season, week, day, hour of our life? Oh my God, no way! The angel of self-worth couldn't be more fitting. This video could be labeled a lot of things, but we're just like, this is really just about growth and how to have the most effective growth in your life. But the angel of self-worth, and most likely if you're watching this and you've watched it all the way through, you are currently undervaluing yourself. It is time to regain your self-worth, and that comes from realization, setting those dang boundaries, and transforming how the way you feel about yourself and how it drives you to do the things that you do in your life. Where is this angel? It's a long one. Hold on, I need to take a sip of my coffee for this. You are currently undervaluing yourself. You are so much more than what you are portraying to the world and those around you. The angel of self-worth is here today to reflect onto you all of the beauty, love, and light that you are, to help you regain and to help you regain your sense of self-worth. Feel her healing light penetrate your aura. This very moment, affirm to yourself, I'm gonna close my, oh wait, I can't close my eyes and read at the same time. Fuck. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna pretend I'm closing my eyes, but I'm gonna read it, okay? And we're just gonna do this together. I am a being of light and love. I love and value the many wonderful qualities I possess. From this moment forward, I will honor and value myself, all I am and all I do. In the knowledge that I am part of God's creation, I am worthy of love. Repeat this affirmation several times each day, either out loud or in silence of your heart. Reflect upon each word and truly believe and own each one. Reflect or express each word with all of your heart and soul. As you begin to value yourself, you will find that others start to value you too. That couldn't be more fitting for what I talked about today. I love that. I love when things just align, because that's as it should, because it does, as it does every day. Not as it should, as it does, because it's always aligning with what we are and what we be. So, and what we do. If you watch this, you might also find it fitting to go back and watch my video around self-worth and value, being high value. And really, I have a lot of videos about all of this stuff. So if you find yourself wanting to really put in that work, either take notes and really practice what I've told you today, or you can go and take notes on all of it. Watch all of it. Just start listening. I find listening to people who have this mindset, even if I'm not fully taking in what they're saying, it helps me reprogram my mind too. I understand how hypnosis works, and we're always hypnotizing ourselves or influencing ourselves. So who you listen to and what they say, their attitude, their energy towards life is really going to start to impact you. So if you like my energy, you like how I influence and impact you, or how I de-influence you and deactivate the things that have been actively wrong in your life. I'm just kidding. Give me a like, give me a comment, please. A lot of you that watch my videos, you guys keep coming back and you keep forgetting to subscribe. So if you really like this and you like me and you want to hear more of what I have to say, you want to know what is in this and my other 815 notebooks, subscribe so you don't have to keep searching me in the search bar and putting in all that extra effort just to find me. Just click me in your subscribers. Go secure it, my page in your browser. Okay. Other than that, that's all I have to say. My lipstick is this. It's this matte stuff. It's so cute. This is like my spring lipstick. Because I like matte because I'm so messy and I'm so reckless that I have to have something that's just like, it's just there. Like, it won't come off. Okay. Thank you all for watching. I'm so grateful for all of your views, your support, your comments, you sharing, you subscribing. I'm so grateful. I thoroughly enjoy being here to support all of you in this community and just to be a guiding lantern for you in your dark times, as the YouTubers of YouTube past were for me. Okay, well, I hope everyone has a beautiful day. Don't forget to keep those flowers alive. Keep those flowers alive. Those were a lot of money, okay? If you don't, I'm kidding. Okay, bye, love you.